This is Travel in 10.
And now, your host, David Brody.
On today's podcast, we're going to be looking at Luang Prabang, Laos. We have a number of inside tips to help you prepare for a trip to Luang Prabang, and we're going to be looking at two great hotels to stay at, the Apsara and the Three Nagas Boutique Resort. Now, Laos is a country that I think people still think of as a bit of a frontier. Landlocked between Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Thailand, it's a place that historically has had to deal with some of the instability in the region. Today, however, you'll find a country that's incredibly inviting and incredibly relaxing. In Laos, there's a saying you'll sometimes hear that in Vietnam, they plant the rice. In Cambodia, where it's a bit more relaxed, they watch the rice grow. And here in Laos, they listen to the rice grow. And I think that's a saying that very much typifies the sort of attitude that you're going to find in Luang Prabang. This is the former capital of the country, and I think it would still be easily typified as the cultural capital of the country. It's a place where you're going to find some of the best in traditional performances in Laos, traditional performances of music and dance. And it's a place that in recent years has seen an explosion in great restaurants and great hotels catering to the greater and greater numbers of international travelers who are finding their way here. A book that some of you may have seen called Hip Hotels Asia, sort of a coffee table book that has pictures of some of the greatest boutique hotels to stay at across the Asia-Pacific region, and it specifically features one great hotel in Luang Prabang, the Apsara, and that's where we're going to be going for our first stop, is the Apsara Hotel. Now, most of the hotels that you'll find featured in Hip Hotels Asia are charging anywhere from hundreds of dollars a night to thousands of dollars a night. But the Apsara is a definite exception to this rule. Here in low season, we were fortunate enough to find a room for only $55 US, and I think at $55 you'll be hard-pressed to find a better hotel room anywhere in the world. When you first arrive, the rooms themselves are tremendous. You're going to find dark hardwood floors, they've got great sunken bathtubs with a wooden frame around them, and a beautiful picture window overlooking the Mekong River. It's really a great atmosphere and really fits the description of a hip hotel to a T. They have great helpful staff working there as well, who can help you do any of the activities that you might want to do while you're here in Luang Prabang. They've got a great guide in every room that lists some of the best restaurants and best activities, and downstairs you're going to find an excellent restaurant. The breakfast that's included with your room will include a freshly baked baguette, eggs any style, fresh fruit, and freshly squeezed juice, and in the evenings they've got an extensive fusion menu featuring some of the best Asian ingredients and Western ingredients mixed together, and it's not difficult to see why a lot of travel guides rate this as the best restaurant in Laos. Now, between this restaurant and the hotel itself, I think anyone would really enjoy staying here. If you're interested in staying at the Apsara, their website can be found at www.theapsara.com, and Apsara is spelled A-P-S-A-R-A. That's www.theapsara.com. Having stayed in the Apsara, we figured we'd found about the best hotel possible in Luang Prabang, so we're very surprised on our second night in town to stumble across the Three Nagas Boutique Hotel. After spending some time checking it out, we ended up moving across there and spending several days longer than expected just to experience this great property. It's owned by a French-Canadian couple, and managing director Pascal Trahan used to work for the Canadian International Development Agency as an architect. He used his skills as an architect to personally design this great boutique hotel. Inspired by Lao tradition, I don't think anyone would be disappointed with a stay here. Again, you're going to find dark hardwood floors, huge studio rooms of about 50 square meters that have very well-appointed bathrooms featuring all the modern conveniences you could want, as well as natural handmade bathing products. And one of the things that really attracted us to the Three Nagas Hotel was that each of the rooms also feature a very large veranda where you can sit out in the morning, and early in the morning you're going to see hundreds of Buddhist monks coming and going to the nearby temples that walk right in front of the hotel. And one of the more surprising features is that they have a free high-speed internet connection, wireless internet connection, all throughout the hotel. Another great feature at Three Nagas is two excellent restaurants. These are two of the best restaurants in town, also owned by the proprietors. They're right across the street from each other, one featuring French cuisine and the other featuring Lao cuisine. You're going to find great dishes here made with fresh local ingredients like water buffalo. They've got a great sauteed beef and onion dish, and of course you can get the traditional beer Lao that you've got to try out while you're here in town. Between the restaurants and the hotel itself, it's definitely worth staying at. Their website can be found at www.3nagas.com. Having found some great places to stay and eat while you're here in Luang Prabang, now you're going to be looking for some activities to do while you're here in town. And one of the best has got to be the evening night market. Every night, the main street of Luang Prabang shuts down at about 6 p.m. and an evening night market where people from the local Hmong hill tribes come in and sell some of their local handicrafts runs until about 10 p.m. At 10 p.m., everything in town shuts down, including the market. And this market is a lot different than markets you're going to find anywhere else in Southeast Asia, where markets in Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia all are a lot of times selling essentially the same things. You're going to find sort of tourist t-shirts, knockoff DVDs and CDs. Here, you're not going to find any of that. This is a much more quiet atmosphere, and this is really local people selling locally made things that are going to be difficult to find anywhere else in the world. It's a very quiet atmosphere. A lot of the booths are lit by candlelight or just by a single light bulb, and during the evening you can hear the nearby Mekong River rushing by, and it's just a very quiet, very relaxing place to spend some time. Also, because Luang Prabang was historically the royal capital of Laos, you'll find the former royal palace here, and in the evenings, the Luang Prabang Royal Orchestra puts on a great traditional song and dance performance that's definitely worth checking out. In addition to this, in Luang Prabang, you're going to find lots of very impressive temples to visit, and of course a wide variety of outdoor activities, from whitewater rafting to hiking, to help fill your time. One excursion I would highly recommend while you're in town and have time is Kwang Xi Waterfall. It's about 32 kilometers away, but given the conditions of the road, it'll take you a little over an hour to get there. We hired out a truck and driver for the day, and we were fortunate enough that he had a young daughter about 11 or 12 years old who spoke excellent English, who also came along and provided commentary as we went. She managed to arrange some great stops along the way where we could stop and meet with some of the local hill tribes people. The waterfalls themselves are about a 15-minute hike throughout the forest, and all along the way you're going to find a series of turquoise, cool pools that make great spots for stopping and swimming. The main waterfalls feature a 10-meter deep cave running behind the falls that make an excellent spot to stop for a swim. In addition to this, there's a very well-maintained picnic area and a large section of the forest that's been enclosed with fencing. The reason for this is to house both 3 Asian black bears and an Asian tiger that were found in the possession of poachers and have been taken here and returned back to their wild environment in very large enclosures. Between the spectacular waterfalls themselves and all the culture that you're going to see along the way, this definitely makes a great excursion. Well, thanks for listening to today's podcast on Luang Prabang, Laos. I think it's a great destination and somewhere that you'll really enjoy. And I think between the hotels, the restaurants, and the excursions that we've recommended, you're going to have a tremendous time. I hope you enjoy your trip to Luang Prabang, Laos.
Thanks for listening to the Travel in 10 podcast. Please email any questions, comments, or suggestions you have to travelin10@gmail.com. This has been a presentation of Travel in 10.